Trailblazing Career Tech Minds, the podcast where we dive into the innovative world of career tech. Join us as we explore the latest trends, tools, and transformations shaping the future of work. Each episode, we bring you insights from industry leaders, cutting-edge technologists, and forward-thinking educators who are pioneering the way forward. Whether you are a seasoned professional or just starting your journey, this podcast is your gateway to understanding how technology has revolutionized careers and empowering the workforce tomorrow. Tune in and stay ahead of the curve with Trailblazing Career Tech Minds. I'm your podcast host and career coach, Morel Baxter, and my co-host today is
Carol Turner, English Language Arts.
Today we are back with our welding guys, but we have two welding instructors at Baldwin Prep, and today we are with Mr. Hayes, our trailblazer. How you doing, Mr. Hayes?
Good. How are y'all? Y'all doing good?
We're good.
Glad to have you. Thank you.
And Ethan Darley,
Hey there.
Daphne High School senior and welding student.
Yes, ma'am.
We're glad to have you on today.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Hayes, I just wanted to start off with, how did you get into welding? How did you get into teaching? Tell us your story.
I got into the welding trade. I did dual enrollment through high school at one of our local trade schools there. And I started, I want to say my junior year and went through my senior year. And they offered you could get certified, get a plate certification, like a structural certification, and then you could get on into your pipe certs. And I wound up going one semester after I had graduated. So around 2010, I had finished up right after high school, kind of like these guys. It was just, we did in the afternoon and went through. And pretty much as soon as I'd gotten my pipe certs, we went to work. And I started welding in like August of 2010. And pretty much had traveled around and pretty much it went from there. I guess I got a little experience. I got to working and I got a little better and I started traveling and I started working in some of the refineries and things. Worked in a lot of refineries, a lot of chem plants, and then I guess it was kind of I started working at one of the mills there at the house and I started doing a little I gotten tired of welding every day, so I kind of branched out and I started doing a little millwright work and a little pipe fitting. But one of the things was I went to work at the house and then I was working on shift work, so I was kind of wanting to get into teaching, and I always had. And I guess that was one of the things. So when this job came available, I had taken it, and it kind of went from there.
What year was that?
So I took this job in 2019.
Okay.
So this will be, I've been doing it for a few years now, but I guess one of the biggest things I could remember going through, and I guess I've always kind of wanted to do it. I know I had a good relationship with my welding teacher. He was, Mr. Andy was one of the guys that I had gone through, and Mr. Stewart actually had Mr. Andy at Reed as well. He went through a little bit earlier
So
than
you
I
and
did.
Mr. Stewart had the same instructor?
Yeah, we did. We had the same welding instructor. So a lot of things that we do in the shop are very similar, me and Mr. Stewart. So it's been really good. We kind of co-teach together. So that's one thing. It's been me and Mr. Stewart would talk a good bit throughout the week and stuff before we got in here at BP when we were at North Baldwin and South Baldwin. So now that we've kind of gotten in one shop and kind of get to work together, it's been very good because we kind of co-teach and kind of bounce off each other. He may have a little more knowledge in one thing or one process, so we can definitely feed off each other there. So.
And so how do you like being a student here?
It's pretty nice so far. It's not a whole lot of bad things going on. I just want to hurry up and get in the shop and start welding.
I know.
Get as much practice.
A lot of y'all are just, I feel bad for you. I really do, but I know there's nothing we can do at this moment. Hopefully it will be soon. Very,
Hopefully.
very, very soon that y'all can get in the shop and actually start working. So.
Mr. Stewart compared it to Christmas.
Yeah,
As soon as it
Christmas morning.
opens, Christmas morning, everyone's going to be so excited. Yeah. And I know that y'all are just going to be ready to take off and really dive into some of the new things that y'all have been wanting to do in the shop. So how is the shop different this time at Baldwin Prep versus what you've been working with at North Baldwin in terms of time and space?
I feel like, all right, so one thing we were fighting at the older schools, there's just like a time thing. We couldn't get, a lot of times with the kids would get off the bus, and by the time we got dressed out, they didn't have but about an hour and 20 minutes most days to actually get in the shop and work. So here, with having everybody here and we're not all bussed in, we actually have a good bit of extra time now. So not only are we touching on some of the processes that we're trying to learn, but we also kind of get to throw some things in there as far as like fabrication. It's a little pipe fab, little different things that we can work on that goes along with the welding trade itself. And I think it makes it better just because we got more time. And like I said, we're not as crunched for time, so we can cover a few more things, like actually why we're doing it and what we need to be doing, other than just a process and getting certified on something. It kind of goes, we can kind of get into it a little bit more.
Just take a breath.
Yeah.
You don't have to go.
It's not as bad as it was. We definitely have a lot more time here. And that's one thing that I feel like is going to benefit with the kids here a lot too.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. Because I know that's a lot of what others, or what we struggled with our 2 tech centers, is the bus time, and then driving from their base school to this school, and the time they were on the bus and not having a lot more time. Yes. So that's good.
That definitely helps. So.
Yeah.
So last year I had the opportunity to co-teach with Mr. Hayes with his welding students in the afternoon. And when it came to the time, they were efficient because we also built in
Well, you were at North Baldwin with them?
So we transferred between North and South Baldwin, and so we were trying to showcase what co-teaching would look like with Career Tech and the programs. And so what we focused on was process videos and just explaining things that they do in the shop. And so we had classroom time, quickly transition to shop time, make sure everyone's gear was on, including me. Safety glasses, the coat, the gloves, the works. But I would say that the students moved very efficiently. They were professionals. They were able to share their knowledge of what they were doing. Yeah. So it really inspired me because there's a need for YouTube videos or tutorials where people explain how you do something. Yeah. So I just felt like they did such a great job with that.
How quick have you ever gotten your welding gear on?
Well, probably the quickest was about 3 minutes, because all I needed to do was throw my welding jacket on and grab my hood and my gloves.
Because you already got your jeans and your boots on every day, right?
This time you already got your jeans and your boots on, so if you don't have a shirt like this one on underneath that's kind of melting if you get flames on it, just throw your welding jacket on and your hood and gloves and safety glasses.
You're ready to go.
Ready to go.
Well, what are your goals? Are you going to want to do a career in welding?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
I want to, hopefully by the end of this year, I'll learn a little bit more about stick pipe and get my certification in TIG and learn some more about TIG. And then after high school, I want to hopefully go and finish and get my associate's degree, then head off to travel pipeline welding.
Okay, what is TIG? Tell us.
It's a gas tungsten arc welding.
Okay.
And basically, you got your torch in one hand and you got your filler rod in another, and you got to try to double work it to fill in your bead. And to me, it's just a lot more satisfying. It's a lot more clean process compared to stick. And plus it pays a little bit more than stick too. So
it's a lot of hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, it's a lot of hand-eye coordination.
It takes a little while to get it. So
it's a lot more finesse to it rather than just MIG or flux core. MIG or flux. I like them, but most of the time it's just pulling the trigger and you drag it up. There's not a whole lot to it. I like the complications with stick or TIG because I just like the challenge of it.
Okay, very cool. So where do you see yourself working at?
Right now, I might go to Austell and just work there for a few years while I'm going to college and finishing up with that. Then afterwards, I might, like I said, go to travel pipeline welding and either do it through my own rig or just go through a company and just be sent wherever I need to go.
Are you a third-year student?
Yes, ma'am.
So you've been in welding since your 10th grade year?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. What would you tell younger students who are thinking about maybe getting into welding, but they don't really know?
I'd say do it. I mean, obviously it's a little biased, but I love it. If you like a challenge and if you like doing new things and trying to figure stuff out that's complicated, I'd say do it, especially if you like working with your hands. It's a lot of fun, at least for me, and when I'm welding, it's peaceful too.
Oh.
And that's
really cool.
If you get into it, you're gonna suck at first. Everyone's gonna suck at first, so don't get beat up over it because it's gonna suck. You're gonna get better, but it's gonna suck at first.
Well, I told Mr. Stewart, and we both want to come play on your VR welder. What is it called?
So we've got two. We actually got two different setups. So in our shops, we've got two. We got a Lincoln virtual reality welder, and then a Miller virtual reality welder. That's one of the things it's kind of neat because I know we haven't gotten in the shop yet, but the kids have all of them have taken turns with everything, and pretty much you can kind of tell already. It gives a feel. So when you're getting in the shop, we should have a pretty good step on, which I know it's not the same thing. We got a lot we're gonna have to practice because welding is just a muscle memory thing, but it's kind of giving even my second year guys and everything. You get a real feel for it. So that's one of the things we've been kind of working on the last few days and going over safety and gotten a lot of that out of the way. So really and truthfully, we may not have gotten in the shop yet, but it takes so long to get through some of the safety and stuff to begin with. We're really not.
Y'all probably would still be in the classroom anyway.
We probably would have still been working on some of that anyway, so we're doing good. So we're on track with that. So
that's good.
That's a good thing.
I will say, too, Mr. Hayes offered to let me weld as whenever I was in his classroom.
Oh, you should have did it.
I was so scared, but with this virtual reality, I can totally see myself practicing on that and then moving into the real thing.
So way back in the day when I first started career coaching, my welding instructor at my Career Tech Center let me weld, and I obviously didn't wear what I normally wear every day, but I had to dress out, and I did the one, it was like this. Now what is that?
T-joint.
A T-joint. That is what I did. I had one really good side and I had one really bad side. But he did show me, you have to have like a rhythm, and I mean it was very interesting. I didn't really understand what went into it until I actually did it. And I still have my T-joint. I have to come show it to y'all. And I have to get y'all to grade it.
Yeah,
yes, definitely bring
it. Hopefully I'm at a B at least.
And that's one thing. Like even when we were at North Baldwin, everybody was involved with it. So you see, Mr. Rogers might come through, the assistant principal. He may be in there welding with the guys one day and talking about where they're going with it, because his granddad was a welder, so he's got a history. He's got a little bit of history behind that too, and he knew. So it's no telling who you may see in the booth one day, kind of talking to the kids and coming through. I know our counselors, Mr. Kessler, he'll come in and weld with the guys someday. So it's kind of
cool.
I guess it's one of those things. Everybody's kind of involved. So
it's just like a family.
It is. It's a good program.
It's very open and supportive, and I like what you said, that you just have to try it, and you might fail at first, but it's through practice and consistency that you're going to get better. So I think that's with anything.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what Mr. Stewart and I were talking about before we even got started. So that was one of the things we kind of touched on. We've got some kids that may be coming through that just want to, just kind of may want to just learn how and just kind of get into it a little bit. Well, we've got some kids like Ethan that want to come through, and that's one thing that we really felt like, between me and Mr. Stewart, we've got a lot of experience in this, and we've been in a lot of different scenarios. Me and Mr. Stewart, we've even owned our own companies, we do side work and stuff, and we've seen a lot of different things. So we've been from all the way from the X-ray, your severe piping and everything, you're working on that, and then I guess just the structural and the how we need to fix it side of it. So we've kind of got a lot of knowledge there. So that's one of those things. We're going to try to push people as hard as we can through the class. If they want to take it as far as they can, we're going to try to get them there. And it's more of those things. We got a lot of experience, so we're going to try to get them see kids like Ethan that are willing and ready to get a pipe cert. We're going to see if we can't get them there and get them there as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
So.
What are you going to graduate with? You're going to graduate with a lot of certifications. What are those?
Hopefully, I'm going to graduate with at least a stick certification, which I have now, and by the end of the year, a TIG certification. And if I have enough time, I might try to go for MIG, get certified in MIG. But my main goal is just to get TIG, get certified in that, and maybe knock out the rest when I go back to college.
Okay. Awesome. So, Mr. Hayes, I know that y'all did go to Skills USA. Did you compete in Skills USA?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
I was just trying to get certified in stick. I was just trying to knock out some
You're trying to knock
progress.
out your certifications.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, we talked a little bit to Mr. Stewart about USA, Skills USA. But, tell us about it. Was it different this year or?
It was different because so me and Wesley had talked, I guess, and it was kind of, I was pulling for him just as much as he was pulling for us. But we at district, we did really well. I know I had several of my seniors last year placed first and second in the actual welding competition at district, and then we had, I think, second place in at our local, I guess it would be our district competition here in Mobile the first time. We had one senior. He was a beginner welder, so he was second in beginner welder, and then we also had a fab team that was at third place from North Baldwin, and we had several people that competed in non-welding stuff too. So like there was a lot of the speaking and stuff that they had competed in, and like class projects, class displays. So everybody, I think I had 18 kids went last year, and we placed well. We did well, and I think Mr. Stewart had 17 or 18 as well. So we had a lot go. We kind of pushed it kind of hard last year. So we did good with that, and the guys really stepped up and they competed well. So
Good.
that's one thing. And now that we got a little more time, we got a little bit more. I think here at BPA, it's going to be.
Y'all have more time to practice
Yes,
for
I think we'll have a lot
stuff
more
like
time.
that.
But yes, I think it's going to be a lot better.
So y'all are going back this year.
Yes, we're going to try to go again this year, and we're going to try to do our best. I know Mr. Stewart has had a fab team that actually went all the way to Atlanta, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They did really well, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
So this year, will the competition still be at Bishop State?
So our district will be, yes, well, the state competition will be there in Mobile, but our district will be in Opp this year. So
Okay.
we got a little bit of a drive that morning, so it won't be too bad though. So.
Yeah. What advice would you give some students that are considering a career in welding?
I can say this, and Ethan kind of touched on it a while ago. Just stick with it. That's one of the things. You see a lot of the guys coming out of welding school, and they'll work maybe one shutdown or something, and a lot of them, I guess, you kind of got to be humble about it, because a lot of times, if you don't, I don't know, I guess one of the things I'm getting at is sometimes you may have to take a helper job or something, or a structural welder job to begin with, kind of before you get your name out there. Get just comfortable, get a little experience under your belt, and just get with a good group of people. Always pay attention to some of your older journeymen and older tradesmen, that are out there working, and just listen to them and just show up on time and work hard with a good work ethic every day. And that's a lot of it, just being there every day and just paying attention and just being open, being teachable, and just being willing to learn every day. That's one of the biggest things. Just stick with it, because it is a good trade if that's something that you're willing to if that's something you're willing to do. It's a very good trade, and there's a lot of money to be made in it too.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's one of my biggest things. Just stay with it and just keep trying, and you'll get better. And the better you get, I guess it's one of those things. Once you get you some experience and everything, and get your nerves settled where you're taking your test and everything to begin with, after that you'll never have to worry about a job. You'll always have a job, and that's as long as you got a trade. That's something you'll always have. It's something you always have to fall back on. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. What you think?
That's about right. It's just something you got to stick with. It's a repetition. Everything is kind of repeating over and over again. Even if it's, stick to TIG, it's a lot of the base majority of what you're doing is repeating. And it's repetitive, and most time it's going to be hot. You're going to get burned. It's going to suck. So you really got to like and want to do it if you're going to do it.
So what's your favorite part about it? I know you said it was like relaxing and peaceful.
Yeah, it's weird. When I first found it, honestly, it was the money. I was just interested in the money. It was nice. But after I started welding, it honestly became peaceful for me when I was welding. I was in the middle of I was peaceful. I was happy.
Yeah.
And when it turns out nice, it's great. But it still is going to suck, because it's going to get aggravating and it's going to get frustrating, especially if things don't go the way you want after you keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. But for me, it's just peaceful.
Okay.
Even through the aggravation, it's peaceful.
It's almost like you find that zone, that groove of everything just working out perfectly.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's peaceful, especially with TIG, because it's a really clean process and it's really pretty when it's
What's
done.
aggravating about it to you? Is it just the hot
It's not even
he's
that.
a perfectionist.
Oh, that's what I want.
Perfect.
I hate when I mess up the smallest bit, and I could try everything I could possibly try, and it's just me, myself, that's not right. The machine could be perfect, but if you're off a little bit, and at least with me, I'm going to hate it because I want to try to be perfect at it. I know I can't be completely perfect, but I try to get it the best I can. It's just aggravating when I can't.
He's a 100%. He's going to make a great welder. He's 100%. He's very detailed. So he's very attention. Like he's got a lot of attention to detail. So he's going to make a great welder one day. He's going to be a good one.
So perfectionist.
Yes,
Precision.
He'll make a good one. That's for sure. So
that's good.
That's I think when he was one of my first students I first started with. So I was learning a little bit. I came straight from industry and I've been in the industry for a while, and I was trying to. It was one of those things, I got to working with him and got to know everybody. And he was just a good kid, and he's one of the good ones. And I'm glad he stuck with it. Made a third-year student, so he's one of the ones in a few years. He's one of those. I'm gonna see some check stubs in a few years.
And come back to Baldwin Prep and share your story too.
Please, yes.
So I have a question about the certification. So how many hours of practice would you say that you need before you take that test, and what does that test consist of?
Well, how I did it, I was at Fairhope Trade School, and I'd been welding stick from my sophomore year all the way up until my junior year, and I went in between my junior and senior year. I went in that summer, and I welded at Fairhope Aviation.
Okay.
And I welded there. And for me, there wasn't really any hours that you needed to reach for, because I was friends with people who had gotten certified with stick a couple months into welding. They just got the hang of it a lot quicker. But for me, it was a vertical butt joint that I needed to do. And so it's basically like a V groove like that. You got to run a root, a hot pass, a filler pass, and you got to put a cap on it. And I did that for about 3 months, trying to get it just as perfect as possible. And then I sent it off to Wesco. I got certified through them. They cut it and they bent it, all that. I got certified through them doing vertical butt joint. So there's not really any certain requirements in terms of hours or amount of time. You just got to be able to do it and do it good to where it won't break. And there's certain
that's interesting.
Tested.
Yeah.
And there's certain requirements you have to be able to so you could have like a tiny hole in it after it's bent, but if it's so big, they won't pass you. You'll get failed off of it. And for me, it was cut into 4 sections, and I passed all 4. But I think the requirement was that you had to pass at least 2 of them, like 1 root and 1 cap test. And if there was something so big, like of an imperfection or something, you wouldn't get passed on that plate.
I see. Okay.
It's one of those things. Some of the students, it's kind of funny. Some of the guys that come in and they'll be I guess my first year I kind of learned this too. Like I was kind of thinking everybody was going to be on the same playing field, but it's like someone will come in and, hey, my granddad was a welder. He taught me how to do this.
Right.
And then some of them, you got some of them just starting and never, like they're scared to death of it. So it's kind of in different stages. Like you kind of got some that just pick it up and run with it, and then you got some that it takes a little longer, but it's kind of, for me, it's kind of rewarding. Like you got somebody that struggled with something and they try it every day. It's like, Mr. Hayes, I can't get it. I said, look, we're going to get it. Just keep working on it. And then all of a sudden it clicks. It's like, hey, that's what we got to do. So it's kind of cool kind of watching them progress as they go on throughout the year. So it's pretty neat.
That is neat.
So
I can tell you're both very passionate about it. This is really cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really like the idea that it's so personalized. You go at your pace. You put in the extra time and practice that you are putting into it, and it all just kind of comes together when you're ready, when you have that confidence and that flow of your work.
How did you find out about the welding classes at Daphne High School?
At first it was we have once a year they'll have a bunch of the trades from like North Baldwin or South Baldwin or something. They'll come in. And they'll come and speak. And at the time, I can't remember his name, but it was the old instructor for North Baldwin. I think his name was Mr. Ross. I might be saying that wrong, but he came and he spoke, and I just found it interesting. And I'd been looking into it previously, just looking at videos, and it just caught my interest. So I figured I'd start.
I was curious
just
about
kinda
that
got
because as career coaches, we help schedule, the teachers to come speak to the underclassmen about it, and you're always worried, like, I don't know if we got through to them. So it's always good to hear that somebody out there was listening, and now here you are.
Piqued their interest.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really cool. So what are you looking forward to this year? Besides getting in the shop.
Besides getting in the shop, probably just learning new techniques and new ways to do things. New ways to do things, and like Mr. Hayes said, learn a lot more about fabrication and how to set up stuff before we weld it. Because you could learn welding through videos, you could teach yourself a whole lot, but it's not really a great way to learn fabrication on a decent level unless you have an instructor or somebody there to teach you. So I'm excited to learn more about the fabrication side of things.
Has Mr. Hayes inspired you to be?
A little bit.
A little bit. I'm sure he has.
When we were at North Baldwin, he helped me out quite a lot. So it definitely helped me get past the the kind of block I was at. Because for a while I was struggling. I was just stuck in one place. But he helped me get through it a little bit and get me over that, and kind of just went on for there.
There you go.
So,
Mr. Hayes, if you need us to go with our equipment to record anything,
Yeah.
we are there. We can record videos for you, publish them wherever you want.
Sounds good. That's awesome. I know we help. Everybody's been. I know a lot of the core teachers. Anytime we kind of coming from industry, a lot of times we'll have questions. So everybody's been willing to reach out and help. So that's one thing. We got a great crew that we work with. So that's one thing that's been good too. So that's it's been a good year so far. So we've gotten a lot done, and I'm hoping we get a lot better as soon as we get in the shop. It gets to be a lot better too. So it's been a good year so far. So
Yeah, and you're so committed. You drive from Monroeville every day
yes,
to
ma'am.
come out here and teach these kids, which I think is so awesome.
It's not that bad. It's been one of those things. I guess working in the industry and stuff, there wasn't a whole lot. There's a few paper mills and stuff around. So I guess over the years, I've either been out of town, but it's one of those things I chose to be home with my girl. So driving an hour is not that bad. It's one of those things I kind of gotten used to it, because a lot of times driving to a job site or something, we had to drive that or a little bit more and work longer hours. So it hasn't been bad. So it hasn't been too bad.
Good deal. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think they pretty well covered everything. Thank y'all for joining us, or thank y'all for having us today, more or less.
Well, I'm for real. I want to come get in your shop.
Okay, well, come on.
I will dress appropriately, though.
We
That's
are
fine.
ready to see
We'll,
just how wonderful the setup is.
It's going to be a good thing. So we're going to have a great year. Me and Mr. Stewart talk about it all the time. I think Mr. Stewart refers to it as Christmas time. But
that's what he said.
It's going to be good. So me and him, he's good to work with, and I feel like together with the experience we got a good thing going. So
Absolutely.
it's going to be good.
I think it is too. Well, thank y'all for coming on and sharing your expertise of welding. I mean, I can tell y'all are very passionate about it, and we appreciate everything
And keep us posted on how it goes with your next certification.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. How far away are you?
With TIG, I'm still quite a bit away.
I mean, is he really, or is he just being a perfectionist?
He went to Fairhope last year, but now that he's back, we're gonna see where he's at. And we'll hope to get in there. And he's the way he does, the way he progresses, we move along. So I'm gonna challenge him and see if we can't do it by Christmas.
It's a good senior year
Let's
goal.
see.
Oh, that's
for
a good
sure.
goal. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank y'all so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all for having us.
Mr. Hayes and Ethan, we thank y'all so much for coming on today with us, and hopefully we'll get to follow back up with you later in the year. And I hope y'all listen in next week. Thank y'all so much.